Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, Speed Gaming fans around the globe. I'm WXFan21, hot off
And
a outstanding Super Metroid Best of 3. And I told you all I'd be back for a little bit of Metroid Fusion. I am a lover of Fusion. It's a really good game. I am joined by Autumn out of habit. What's up, Autumn?
not much. If you're a lover of Fusion lately, I've been a bit of a hater. Having some trouble in my runs, but we're going to have some fun here with some runners who run a little bit better than I can.
That's the game's fault. It's not a skill issue. It's the game's fault. So, anyway,
I like
we
the
got
way you think.
So we got Thunder versus BigOhm today. And Autumn, what can you tell us about these racers and where are we at in the tournament?
So we are still in the tail end of pools. We've got 4 pools of 4. Top 2 in each pool are going to go to a top 8 bracket, so we're coming to a close here. Thunder here has been moving up the ranks in our leaderboards and is actually in 5th place for Hundo. BigOhm, it looks a little bit lower if you check on speedrun.com, but BigOhm actually coming in with a PB in the 1 hour 44 minute range and has been steadily improving that, so don't get fooled by some outdated information. These are 2 excellent players, and as we've seen in this tournament time and time again, anything can happen in the runs, especially in something as long as Hundo, so we'll have to see how it goes.
Absolutely. So we are looking on average, folks. So I hope you all have your coffee if it's the morning for you. You have some water, you have some snacks. I got my snacks. We're looking at about an hour 40, hour 50 for Metroid 100%. And I will say, we're going to be talking about the storyline here to get things started. Samus is going to go to the quarantine cave to investigate an explosion that happened where her suit parts were being stored. And what do you think of the storyline, just the vanilla storyline, Autumn? I thought it was pretty well done.
It is well done, and I think it came in very underappreciated and was ahead of its time.
Agreed.
I
agree.
Love to see what could have been done with a little bit stronger of hardware to really execute the version that they had, but we've got a nice horror story in space. We're fighting these little pieces of jello here, and our runner's showing off some of the most important tech ever since we switched over last decade to using real-time to time our runs instead of the in-game timer. In-game timer only shows in increments of minutes, and now we get tech smashing, so you can't just button mash through it to go faster. It is a timing thing to clear the text boxes as quickly as possible and get through here faster.
Yep, so we'll talk about tech smashing at some point during this, but really? Shooting these things of jello? I love it. I've never heard of the X referred to as jello before.
I mean, what do you see when you look at that blob?
Fair. Well, now I'm going to see jello. Thank you, Autumn.
You're welcome.
No, I'm kidding. The X-Parasites are, I think it was an interesting design. Obviously, we know the classic Metroids, what they look like. So when you were thinking about introducing this level, and also, like, when this game came out in the 2000s, to have it be the last game in the Metroid timeline at that point, you were doing some kind of edgy stuff at that point. I mean, obviously, we have Dread now that's post-Fusion. But still, like, this game really did some interesting things, incorporating some cool concepts because you don't have your traditional power suit anymore. And, I mean, the gravity suit is kind of one of my favorite looking suits in Metroid. But I mean, the blue and yellow also, it's nice. It's a nice way to get away from the yellow, then the orange, and then the standard purple.
And then we don't talk about Varia suit.
Yeah, you notice how I skipped Varia. I just think it's really interesting. Now, was this game the greatest game of all time? No. But did it do a lot of things? And like you said, had this game come out on different hardware, could have been a different story.
And I would just like to point out Thunder's descent here into the Arachnus area. Incredibly clean movement here.
Agreed.
Exactly what we'd expect from one of the top runners in the game. Our runners picking up their first couple of items here, a couple of missile tanks that we even get in any percent, because we're going to need them to shoot down a boss soon.
That we will. And let's start talking about beams here. So these eye doors are going to launch a certain amount of beams, and the racers are going for what we call doubles. Autumn, why don't you talk to us a little bit about those techs?
Yeah, so each beam, each eye door, it can give you between 0 and 4 beams. It's roughly a 50-50 shot every time it opens the eye. I know it's not exactly that. These first couple doors, we need to hit 3 missiles into them in order to knock them down. If you do a spin jump shooting a missile and another missile in another frame that'll hit at the same time, you can cut one of those cycles. So that's 0 to 4 beams that you save. It's about a second difference with each beam. So the amount of times that you get a beam in the run is one of the major points of RNG. Thunder with an excellent double on that core in order to cut down the number of cycles there. Every double you get on a core is 3 seconds of time save. And hitting the sweet spot as well. Sometimes the blob that you get your power up from will hover intangibly for a bit before you can pick it up. And it has to wait to a certain point in the cycle before you can hit it. If you hit on a sweet spot, it'll be immediately able to be picked up and you save some frames.
Outstanding. Thank you for the explanation on the text. So you're going to hear Autumn and I talk about these doubles, eye doors, and beams. You know, fans are going to love counting the amount of beams that each runner gets. So, but there is a lot here that could go right and could go wrong. There has been so much that we've already seen in this tournament. In a game I was commentating either earlier this week or last week, there was deaths on both sides. One of the racers died to box. One died to the Sector 2 sack skip.
Hi, it's me, one of those racers. I won't tell you which one.
My bad. Sorry, Autumn.
No worries.
I forgot about that. But
Every now and then
yes.
I get hit with a bad case of skill issue.
It's the game's fault. It's not you.
I'm not sure about it on that one.
But no, so there is... We'll get to it when we get to Sector 2. There are a couple of areas that these racers could very easily die to. And in this particular game, there is no saving on 100% or any percent runs. So if you die, that's mostly it. But you don't know what your opponent is doing because they could also have died at the same spot. They could die somewhere later. Someone could mismanage their health. You don't know. And that's why when you're racing, you never, ever give up. It's time to go to Sector 1. And there are some issues with the atmospheric stabilizers.
Yeah, so the atmospheric stabilizers are being taken over by beings controlled by the X-Parasites in order to throw off the environment of this sector that was curiously made to mimic the planet that Metroids originally came from. You know, I'm sure the Federation isn't up to anything untoward here, though. We just want to be able to study these animals outside of their natural habitat, but also in it. So, Metroid Fusion really is a game about the galaxy's greatest repairwoman, Samus Aran. She's coming here to fix everything on this station, and first it's going to be these stabilizers. So each of these stabilizers have a Garen on them. It will take 3 missiles in order to take those out, or later when we get Charge Beam. That'll do some different math here. And the name of the game in Sector 1 is All Missile Management. Thunder perfectly nailing the Hornode hole strat. Firing
insane.
1 beam diagonally down, 2 across, and 1 up in order to get into the hole and get the E-Tank as quick as possible. And that one, harder than it looks.
You think?
I do think,
Wow,
because I've tried it and I have not succeeded it.
I've never seen anyone get it. Nicely done. But
yeah,
anyway,
we're trying to keep our missiles here because we need to have 3 to open the eye door at the end of this.
Yep.
Otherwise, we can't get to the boss and we have to farm green X drops. Those are a 20% chance every time we knock or take something out, so it's going to be difficult. The trick here, try not to get hit. If you have full health, you're guaranteed to get a missile drop, as opposed to the 20% if you're below full health. And the magic number is 3, plus on the Eastern Pirate Climb, you also need some missiles to take pirates out of your way, or else you're in for a very slow time.
Yep, and so we can talk about when we get to the Sector 1 boss, which is, well, the first Sector 1 boss, which is a Beam Core X. And you'll notice there are a difference in regular Core X's and Beam Core X's by how they look. And Thunder is going to get Charge Beam. or both lasers are rather. Charge Beam is pretty unique. We're going to talk about one thing that makes Charge Beam unique when we get to Sector 4. But we're going to be able to use a Charge Beam shot on the eye doors going forward, where we're not even going to really need missiles to start. Nice double. Good eye door RNG so far from Thunder. So,
Yeah, that is exactly what you want to see, and very precise positioning needed to get those doubles.
Correct. And you see Thunder trying to keep the beam Corex in. Okay. 2 doubles on that Corex going down like that was absolutely just Jeff's kiss beautiful.
Perfect
Absolutely
execution of that particular
fantastic.
strat, which is one of the fastest strats that there are for that Corex.
That
So
was
you
outstanding.
have a certain position to drop 2 missiles, come in contact with the little eye, and then take a deboost in order to keep its position to where you can get it on the sweet spot with the second 2.
Yep,
Also,
now-
we saw Thunder doing a damage boost against Stabilizer 5, and we'll see Ohm doing it in a moment, where you take a hit from the... you spin jump into it, take a hit, and that puts you in position to unload a charge beam directly into it. When you hit things at melee range with a charge beam, you hit them with its 2 particles to the beam. You hit it with both at that point, as well as a little melee flare that comes off, and that gives us the math to take out eye doors in one shot, as well as these stabilizers.
Yep, and that was the tech I was mentioning when we get to Sector 4, when we get to the Ceres fight. We'll be talking about
What's the
that
Ceres?
again. It's not important right now. It's a big, giant, eel-like looking thing with spikes, but that's not important right now.
I swear, everyone in this community is just making up this thing. I've never heard of it.
Nah, it just doesn't exist. So, in all seriousness, Thunder is going to be making a play out of here, and we're going to be leaving out certain items to get. And why are we leaving out certain items is purely because we have revisits, shall we say. Revisits and item cleanup to do later on in the 100%. Obviously, that we don't care about in any percent. But there are certain items, one in Sector 5 that stands out, heading to and from the Nightmare Room, that we don't get right away. And that's on purpose. So they're all routed in. So...
And it'll actually
Thunder.
be really interesting to see what our runners do when we get to Sector 6, because there's a missile that recently changed its position at what point in the game we get it. We used to get it in the first route. I think some people used to get it on the second run, and then now it's being done in cleanup. I'm not sure at what time these runners particularly pick up that missile. Also, some Sector 2 missiles will get some disagreement, but that's the largest part of the routing discussion here is when is it fastest to get items, and a lot of times that timing is very close.
And now what Samus is doing is Samus is learning about the... I don't want to call it a being. They're learning about the X parasite called the SAX, the Samus Aran X parasite, or the Samus lookalike X. And that is one of the final bosses of the game, but Samus is going to eventually learn that there are 10 of them on board. And Autumn, you mentioned earlier Samus being the, how do you call it? The
The galaxy's greatest repairwoman.
There, yeah. And then she realizes that while her repairs are great, they're not going to be loved by the Federation, and since she can't blow up Zebus again, she might blow some stuff up later.
I mean, look, everyone's got to have hobbies.
All that hard work for nothing! It's all good. So, alright, here we go. Sector level unlocks. Level 1 doors are now unlocked. These are blue hatches, or blue doors that are now unlocked, allowing Samus to move further. And Autumn, I don't know about you, but when I first started playing this game, I'm like, where the heck is the rest of the sector? And Sector 2, to me, is probably one of the more confusing sectors, even now when I've gone back through playthroughs. Like, when you really get into, like, the... I want to say...
Nice jump by Thunder. Able to clear it up onto the ledge there. Very precise jump. Just wanted to call that out.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. They
It's
show you
confusing.
the idea of there being hidden things in this game, and you come in and only see a small amount of the map, Thunder picking up bombs. And you get to find out that there's a lot more to the station you don't see. And they hope that you don't put together that means Sector 1 also has some things that you didn't see. But anyway, the door on our way here has been blown up, so we're going to have to get out of the area. Thunder taking a little bit of damage, but okay, and showing off why Samus is a great repair woman. You saw that Thunder jumped through that door there. Now, in Fusion, you always want to be on the ground if you can. Samus is twice as fast on the ground as in the air. However, when you go through a door, the screen has to scroll vertically in order to get the door into the right position before the next room can load. Sometimes we will do a door fix where we jump through the door transition to put the door at a different point, and that will save us in real time as the screen has less to scroll to catch up. So anytime you see Samus jumping through a door, we're doing that in order to save a little bit of time going through it. Doesn't do anything for your in-game time, it only affects real time.
I'm sorry, I gotta call this out from God in chat. She was just testing the explosion system. QA is part of being a repair woman. That is hilarious. Well done.
Yeah, you get points for that. You may redeem them somewhere. Where? I don't know. Ooh, Thunder showing off a more recent strategy here, rolling off of that pillar, turning around in mid-air in order to do one of the rare fusion damage boosts, which allows Samus to move to the right a little bit faster and, more importantly, not have to come out of Morph Ball to go into it, because it's a kind of slow morphing and unmorphing. If we can stay in ball or stay out of ball, it's preferable. In that case, it also allows us to avoid jumping across the room with an unmorphed spin jump into a wall kick, which lets us go on our grounded speed a little bit more quickly. And Thunder getting, I believe, 2 beams there, going into an RNG gauntlet here. We've got Zazabi, or as half the community calls it, various things I cannot say on this network. This boss likes to jump around.
Yes.
You can get anywhere between 3 and 12 jumps on this. We want fewer jumps because it's not vulnerable until it's there. And this boss doesn't have traditional HP. It takes 10 hits. You have to do them in increments of 2, 2, 2, and 4. You'll see our runners will charge up a shot and shoot it up and shoot a missile afterward. That way, if one of the pieces of the charge shot misses, we still get our 2 hits to move to the next phase. And it doesn't matter if you've seen Rando what you hit it with. Anything that it can be damaged by does the exact same amount of damage.
Nice.
Thunder with a nice double.
And that was actually really well done. BigOhm catching up on the RNG from the eye door Thunder.
And here is a high five.
Six jumps. High five. Nicely done. So if anyone's keeping count, that was 6 jumps for Zazabi. Let's see what BigOhm gets. That's 1. 2. Okay, not too bad. Thunder's going to be getting very close to the sack skip. BigOhm.
We've seen some runners run into some problems here with this.
Yes, we have. All right, here we go. Is Thunder going to go for it? Thunder is.
No, Thunder is absolutely going to go for it.
Frozen, hit perfectly. So, Autumn, why don't you tell us, because we've seen different racers, Scotty, Monkey, and a lot of racers in this they've done different strats. Now I've seen something here where it's taking damage from the ice, hitting the SAX to get the iframes, and then being able to escape the door.
So we call that Hundo skip.
Okay.
And the reason it's Hundo skip is because Hundo is typically the only category where you have the health to be able to tank that freeze shot. So that actually is, to my knowledge, the fastest version of SAX skip. I could be incorrect in that. It could be like very marginally slower. But that skip is by far the easiest one. As long as you get your positioning right, it is free. The positioning is not always as easy, but each runner will have their own setup for how to get into the right position so that the ice shot hits you and then you get launched onto the left of the SAX at such a point where it's just going to run after you.
And BigOhm, nicely done. BigOhm waited for the SAX, like you were just saying, to get in a position that BigOhm wanted, and gets it and hits it nicely. So now we're heading to Sector 4. Autumn at this point is going to continually be a denier of whatever boss is here in Sector 4 that apparently just never exists in any game that they play.
Sector 4 doesn't have a boss. They cut Dragon early in development.
Why are there baby Dragons, by the way, in Sector 4? Can we what's the lore behind that? I know the X got all the Samus's memories and everything, but like, why baby Dragons?
Why not baby Dragons?
I mean, because they're cute and cuddly, maybe?
That seems like a good reason to have them to me.
Also, shout out to BigOhm. I mean Toad. I mean BigOhm. Fantastic hat.
Thunder doing a shot cancel in midair in order to be able to make a jump onto the platform without having to drop down or grab a ledge.
This is also
Sector 4 is full of just a lot of small movement tech. It's a lot of runners' favorite segment in the run, at least once we get good enough here. And a very scripted sequence of events as far as where we are firing our charge shots, where we're firing our missiles to get these crabs out of the way just in time. And a lot of the movement is also born from categories where we have less health going into this, but even in Hundo, getting hit is a lot slower than not getting hit. Thunder doing the first store fix I ever learned.
There you go.
Love to see us just putting in all these work orders for all of these store fixes. And picking up an energy tank here.
So, talking about fusion being ahead of its time, think of just the design of Sector 4. I think is really pretty cool. You've got certain water areas, and then you basically get the storyline element of, hey, something happened in Sector 4. Oh, by the way, there's electrocuted water. You need to go and shut the water off and figure out what the boom boom explosion was.
And I love this missile room that Thunder's in here, just unmorphing, jumping up and shooting missiles at those ouches. It's just very satisfying to me to watch or to pull off.
Yep. I think from a visualistic standpoint, Sector 4 is my favorite sector. Overall, I still think it's Sector 3, because there is some... When we get to the emergency in Sector 3 sector, there is just some really freaking cool movement tech that we get to see. Hey,
I
look.
wonder what the skeleton is.
There really is no boss. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that thing looks pretty dead to me.
I mean, nothing there. I see an eye door, but there's
Oh,
nothing
Thunder,
here at
so
all.
close to making the wall jumps on there, not having to climb up, but not quite getting it. That is incredibly precise. Only one beam, we take those.
Yep. All right, so let's talk about the Cirrus fight. Autumn, you mentioned it earlier, the uniqueness of the charge beam with
Ooh,
the
I'm not sure if that worked.
No, we
for
did not
Thunder.
get it. So there were two things with the charge beam. You got your normal shot and you got the flare. Oh, we did get it. Okay. So if you hit Cirrus square in the face like a melee shot, Cirrus is actually a 2-round kill. But they both need to be dead on. And Thunder with a fantastic Cirrus fight.
The intention on Ceres is that it should take 5 missiles because it has 50 health, but if we hit it with both parts of our shot and the flare, we cut it down to 2. Thunder with perfect execution there as well with the core X in order to manipulate it, getting 2 doubles and then getting it in the sweet spot. And then coming out of the escape, getting trolled a little bit by not getting into morph there, but these things happen.
Yep. So Thunder is gaining their lead over BigOhm.
Yeah, and this is generally what we would expect just based on the runner's various PBs. However, anything can happen in a race setting, and that's why we run the races and don't just look at the leaderboard.
Correct. Like I said, there was several races. Autumn, yours was one. Even there was one before yours, someone died to sack skip and still continue. Because you
Also,
never, ever give up.
and Thunder showing off nicely one of my favorite pieces of movement tech in the room before the big electrified water room. Falling down, shooting a missile right before morphings, who open the door and be ready to roll through it at speed so that you can jump up and bomb in the next room. And that's just the kind of small movement optimizations in Sector 4 that make a lot of runners love it.
Yep. And Thunder getting the missile tank here.
Yep, getting the missiles of shame, because in any other category, if you're getting those missiles, it means that you messed up the strat in this room. And Thunder letting out some ammunition there. Not sure what the issue is, but sometimes you just gotta shoot the PSL research station here. Ooh, Thunder letting that Shine Spark go a little bit early, having to do a walk of shame here through the swimming pool.
Unfortunate, but that's okay.
Yeah, just the movement. So water in this game slows Samus's movement until she gets the gravity suit, and it just feels so slow when you're playing it.
Yep. Now it's time to go visit Sector 3 and finally get upgraded missiles here. We go to super missiles. And I will say, one of the things I like about this game, there's no difference between missile and super missile. Right? You don't have to, like, in Super Metroid, you go from missiles to super missiles. You don't have to deal with that here. You know, Metroid Prime is you gotta charge up a missile to use a super. You don't do that with Fusion. You get all the upgrades. But we don't talk about the last missile upgrade.
No, this is vanilla. We can talk about that.
Frig diffusion missiles. They suck for doubles. I said it. They're pretty cool to look at, but for speedrunning, not helpful.
True, but they have cool utility. They can hit things before you get to them.
True.
I am
We'll see if
a
BigOhm
certified
gets it.
diffusion missile enjoyer,
Oh, well, there you go.
and Ohm getting the Shine Spark here in order
Not-
to pick up the missiles a little bit more quickly, as Thunder is going into Sector 3.
Not
Now that
having
we have
to do the
speed, we
walk
can
of shame.
access it.
So, there are items we are leaving behind. And fun fact, once we come to Sector 4 the second time, that's going to be it. That's going to be cleanup. We will not be coming back to Sector 4 again, except for a pass-through. We'll be done with Sector 4 cleanup, even before we get to the normal cleanup part of the run.
And we'll hope that runners remember to get the one more item that they need to pick up there and don't end up with a 99% run. Also, Cryhard in chat saying diffusion is fine, just don't give me ice missiles. And Cryhard, I could not possibly agree more. Ice missiles are the real tragic one because they stop your missiles from being able to one-shot anything, and we like using missiles to go fast. Thunder coming out of the Telltale Heart room and shooting out the blocks on the right side, because if you do that and come out and start running from the right edge of the blocks, you have just enough space to charge up that Shine Spark to break the blocks to get into the level 2 security doors. Samus needs to open up these security doors, that way she can get access to more broken doors to fix. I hear that there's going to be a work order coming up for this sector a little bit later in the run as well, but that work order hasn't been issued yet.
Nope, not yet. We'll get there.
Frank
Just
Z is
getting ready
doing
with
just
their
fine.
emojis.
Ooh, Thunder getting the speed keep here. Frame perfect trick to
Beautiful.
break on the right block there. Able to get a Shine Spark to go up the top of Red Tower, and that's a trick that feels just great to get. And everybody say hi, Bob. WX, that's mean that you don't say hi to Bob.
Hi, Bob. Who was Bob?
Bob is the missile tank there. So named
Oh.
because in
I was
The-
confused. I was like, wait a minute. Is Bob an enemy that I'm not aware of? Is this like Metroid Prime and we have Calvin?
Nope, Bob is a missile tank because you're not supposed to be able to skip that missile tank. It is supposed to be required. In the North American release, there is an out-of-bounds clip that you can do to skip it, which is how we were able to get 0%. There's also an intensely specific sequence of events that you can do even in JP that has like 7 frames of leeway over a bunch of maneuvers.
Oh, there you go.
With a little bit
Also-
of pause buffering can be done.
Yeah. Did you see BigOhm's reaction to missing the Shine Spark?
You know, BigOhm didn't look too happy about that.
No, did not at all. It's time to go and fight
Oh.
Xbox, though. BigOhm is getting
It feels
bullied
bad
in this
when you
room.
get hit by these enemies. I can tell you that from recent experience that I took some hits in this room and I tilted incredibly.
Are we gonna see the bars? Or are we
Cat
gonna see
jams
the
in
Scottish
chat?
strat?
We are getting tackle box
Nice
strats here.
2-round.
Fun fact, if you don't do that strat in 2 rounds, you lose time over the traditional strat.
Interesting.
But we go for it.
Yep.
In order to try to do that, and especially in Hundo when you have so much health, you can tank all of the damage the box will throw at you.
Yeah. So, that room that Thunder was just in, this goes back to what I was saying. There is some items that we on purposely leave behind until cleanup. That was one of them, because if you go through there, hey, why is Thunder missing an energy tank? That is part of the cleanup portion rather than right now. So Thunder's now going to head to all of your favorite sectors. It's Sector 6 to get everybody's favorite suit, Vargas suit. I'm sorry, did I say that? Did that not at all come out with any and all sarcasm? Because that was meant to be sarcasm.
I don't know. I thought you were completely serious there. I was just questioning your taste. Also, Dark5 pointing out in chat that a 3-round box quick kill is also on par with doing the traditional strat optimally.
Oh, cool.
So I was basing this on conversations that I read probably a year ago. We have definitely had development in the past year.
Cool. Well, that's good to know. Sorry for cutting you off there, Autumn. Why don't you tell us about Sector 6?
Sector 6 is the dark sector, except all of these visuals were created to be able to be visible on a GBA screen, so they made everything incredibly bright. Also, BigOhm going for a traditional box fight here, letting box get a little out of hand, but able to bring it back to the right in order to let it go, because box does have to walk over to a certain position on the right of the room in order to go back into storage. So, good backup there. Meanwhile, Thunder going through Sector 6 here. We have some X that have met up with the X in Sector 5 and gotten cold powers, which Samus is very vulnerable to, not thanks to having Metroid DNA. Thunder bombing open, or putting a bomb against a wall, that's going to open a tunnel that we will see in either the exit from this sector, the first revisit, or the second revisit, depending on which route Thunder uses. But yeah, you'll see a little light cone around Samus. This is supposed to be a very dark area. And the way out of it will have the worst enemy in the game.
Uh-huh.
Thunder shooting all of these blue ice X in order to stun them. You can't kill them. If they hit you, you take about 70 points of damage. And jumping, letting off the bomb up in the air, but not quite hitting the tile. So the goal there is to let go of a bomb up in the air so that you don't get a bump jump, but have it open the path forward during the animation that plays while you're picking up that E-Tank. So that E-Tank, the only optional item in the run that you do not lose any time picking up.
There you go. Interesting thing too, and we should talk about again because this is regular. We talk about storyline, and on BigOhm's screen you saw the incoming dispatch between the Federation and Samus's ship. Now that is pretty interesting because it's basically
Thunder getting such a good pattern here in the wine cellar. All 3 of the top slugs going right.
So, basically what they're being told is, hey, does Samus suspect anything? And the ship tells the Federation, no, I don't think she does. Oh, Thunder. Okay, 3 beams. Yikes.
Also, this jerk's in here stealing our Varia suit, trying to save us from having to look bad.
Yep, and this is where I think...
Nice door picks entering the boss room.
I mean, this is kind of where the game tells you, hey, a lot of these core Xers can absorb data rooms.
Nice fight there by Thunder. So this boss, we use damage boost to get inside its hitbox and let loose all of our charge beam particles. It's completely invulnerable to missiles. So basically, if we can get all 3 of our particles to hit each time, we get a 4-shot Otherwise, if you have to shoot it traditionally, you're supposed to be like shooting it and it bounces all across the room and it goes everywhere and it takes a billion shots. We don't like that. That's slow. Also,
We don't
now
like
that we
this
have our
suit
mustard
either.
suit, these ice X will heal us instead of hurting us.
Yep. I mean, this game has so many things, and then this suit. It's just not my favorite suit to look at. I feel like the more I look at it, the more it's...
The designers
mean-
can't always be cooking.
It's fine. I think in Metroid Prime, because I do a lot of Metroid Prime 1 commentary, I think the mustard suit sticks out just a bit more in that kind of game. But still.
And Thunder dropping down the ladder a little bit to avoid that puffer. The puffers are the worst enemy in the game because when you shoot them, they put out a bunch of poison gas that has hurt boxes for you.
So annoying.
As well as they move in very random patterns, have a big hitbox, and just generally are always in your way, like we see there. A lot of times we'll see new runners ask, hey, what's the best way to deal with these puffers? And the answer is, good luck. We see Thunder pre-bombing another hole there to get an energy tank later. And BigOhm about to get ready to go up against the Mega Core here.
Yep. And now it's time to head to Sector 5. And fun fact, in any percent, which I know this isn't the category for it, but in any percent, Sector 5 is the only sector you revisit the most amount of times, and it's 3.
Yeah, and 2 of them incredibly boring. BigOhm a little bit off position in shooting the missiles up to try to get 2 hits in on all of the Core X's as they're spawning in. Which the fun fact with doing these doubles is as you go through the game, the timing becomes different because each subsequent missile upgrade that you get, it changes the cooldown that your missiles have as well as the velocity on the missiles that they travel across the screen. So double effect, and it looks like Ohm not feeling the happiest about that fight here.
No. It was a good Core X fight, Mega Core X fight, and then the actual fighting in the Core X was just a little tough. Now, you saw Thunder and BigOhm do a little wall jump there. People were like, well, why don't you just climb up? Doing a wall jump there, what does it save you, about half a second?
I forget the exact timing. I know I've seen some runners who even do 2 wall jumps there, but there has been debate over how much time that saves and or loses. A lot of the issue is also if you're trying to do the 2 wall jumps, you don't have a ton of space for it. So it can be easy to go a little bit too low on the first jump. BigOhm also having to shuffle down the ladder a little bit to avoid a puffer there. That puffer can be going in 4 different directions when you load into that room, and you have to react very quickly to whichever one it's going in.
Yep, and now with Sector 5 here, we have new Level 3 security hatches. These are yellow.
Thunder with the
And-
perfect mid-air shot cancel in order to get onto that ledge.
Yep.
Very swag maneuver.
Interestingly, I didn't realize this until actually having co-coms for this event. Sector 5 is the only sector with Level 3 security hatches.
It is, in fact. That's one reason why in the randomizer for this, people generally try to avoid getting the level 3 doors at all. Also, BigOhm, we see getting the missile on the way out of Sector 6. Thunder did not pick that up, so that's about another 5 seconds of difference between these runners.
Yep.
Thunder will have to pick that up later in the game, but it has recently been timed that during cleanup is the optimal time to pick that up because it also gives you a cleaner route to get to the energy tank across the room with less puffer RNG. Thunder getting the level 3 security doors open, allowing more access to the space station. And the fun part of this is every time we open up doors so that the Federation can send us data, we're also letting the X into more parts of the station. So all of the bad things that happen in the second half of this game are caused by our actions in the first half of this game.
Yep.
So Samus is here repairing the station, but I think she ends up kind of wrecking it more than she fixes it. And Thunder getting ice missiles, unfortunately ruining that weapon, as now the ice missiles will freeze enemies before being able to kill them, so you cannot one-shot anything with them anymore.
I think it's so unique, though, because of just, again, storyline-wise.
And we
Right,
love this
like-
room here. This is the 200 missile room, so Thunder doing the aggressive strat and killing the pancake that you used to get up in order to let this Ripper spawn faster, so that you can jump up and get the missiles in the ceiling. The downside to that, if you miss the jump onto the Ripper or the jump to the missiles, you have to completely reset the room because you've killed your only way of getting up to the top to get to the Ripper.
And this room teaches Samus how to, you know, use enemies to freeze and go across. Use the speed booster, nicely done.
Of course, in true
Again-
speedrunner fashion, we used like the 401 level course application of the ice missiles before getting taught the 101.
Yeah, pretty much.
And now
But
we just
even
have
so.
to exit Sector 5.
Yep, I mean, even so, the 101 was more freezing the KO, so you can go over it, but still.
And Thunder
that's
nailing
not
all of the
literally
difficult
foreshadowing.
swaggy jumps here.
If that's not literally foreshadowing. Nightmare in the background. All right, folks, this is the other room I was talking about. And then, you know, hey, Autumn, I think it's time for another repair ticket.
Yeah, I'm getting in some information from Adam. I'm seeing that there's an emergency in Franker Z.
Does that mean Twitch chat has to get their Franker Z emotes in?
I think Twitch chat does need to give us some Franker Z's here.
Otherwise, we end the stream.
I don't know about all that. I want to keep talking.
I'm kidding. There you go, Dark Spy. Nicely done. So why do we call it emergency in Franker Z? Is because if you listen in the background, it kind of sounds like Franker Z instead of Sector 3. I think, right, Autumn?
Yeah. That is, in fact, the case. And Franker Z is great, of course.
I
R.I.P.
still want to know
Franker
what
Z.
Franker Z has to do with a dog emote, but anyway.
But yeah, so we are against the clock here. The active sabotage the main boiler of the station. And the whole station will blow up if we don't fix it within 6 minutes. So Samus better be getting some good pay for this. This is some of my favorite movement in the game. Probably
Yeah,
my
this-
favorite segment to play as a speedrunner.
Yep, this is what I was saying, Autumn, earlier, like why I find Sector 3 is like my favorite sector. The movement tech in this particular portion is insane, right? Like you have to get across this room, make sure you avoid the blast up. But then you start coming here, freeze this guy and go up here. And then you go through, and then the next big room, and also you have to hit little tiny
BigOhm getting a
blocks.
bad spawn here on this Ripper. It spawned over to the left and he froze it, so he's got to wait this out. We also saw that he did not kill the lower enemy. So if Ohm does fall here, he still has the way to get back up, but Ohm clutch picking up the 200 missile.
Good job. So, and there you go. And that's like, again, some of the best movement tech. And then you have this room. Get in these hoppers before that hopper gets out of position. Oh, and Thunder getting these 0 beams instead of 3.
I used to find getting that hopper completely free, and now I can never hit it, and I don't know what changed. It looks like that was just a single from Thunder there. Getting a double, so I was right, the first was a single. Nailing the
Nice.
backup, getting the sweet spot, and Thunder is going to have a very, very respectable 436 emergency. World record, I believe, is still 440.
Well done. Great section. Again, like that entire section and seeing, you know, all of you speedrunners go through it just is so fantastic to watch. All of the movement tech that you all have to accomplish between freezing enemies, getting them in certain spots, hitting certain stuff, making sure you don't blast off the wrong block. It's such great tech here.
Yeah, and I feel like for playing it, it's one of the segments of the game that just feels like you're going the fastest.
Fair, absolutely. So, we're gonna come back and clean up a lot of stuff here later in this lower portion of Sector 3. So we'll do that a little bit later. But right now, Thunder is actually gonna head to do something that is mandatory for I'm talking to every one of you out there, Twitch chat. that give us crap in Super Metroid for wanting to save the frames instead
Thunder
of
with
the animals.
Just
Okay?
a beautiful red tower climb there, by the way.
Yep. Absolutely fantastic.
And that
We're
is
saving
not
the animals,
easy.
folks. We're saving the animals, and you can't stop us.
Unless you let us play randomizer, in which case, then you'll
Yes.
probably stop us. But yeah, in Fusion,
Exactly.
we have to save the animals, but it's okay because they're adorable. You get to see a picture of them in the ending.
So, oh, absolutely. And we're going to talk about probably some of the worst RNG of the runs. Like, I think we're, and Autumn, you can correct me if I'm wrong, you're a speedrunner. Is this not some of the worst RNG to possibly get where a run can or can't be broken in terms of trying to get a PB is based on animal RNG?
I'm not sure about that. I think it's just a difference of a couple seconds, but it's one of the most frustrating because it's just like you're not even able to move or react or have to do anything about it. It's just you have no control of Samus and you don't get it until it comes through. Also, I need some more Franker Z's in chat here because BigOhm is going through emergency.
Yeah, and because you all like that music, I know I do. Here you go.
And Thunder coming up on everybody's favorite strat, Beyond Strat. Oh wait, no, wrong elevator. Thunder getting ready to Beyond Strat, and I'm calling it that because
Ooh!
it is
Go.
not impossible.
That's
Oh,
unfortunate.
you hate to see it.
Yeah, that's BigOhm is getting bullied. Did I mention I love the movement tech in this area for specific reasons?
Fortunately, the developers were merciful and let those blocks respawn for us.
Yes. Imagine if you had to reload the room.
And now, Thunder coming into our Beyond room, not even going for that strat, not going for impossible strat, but waiting for these stretchies to move over in order to freeze them. Impossible strat, one of the most notoriously named strats in the game because it's just not possible, even though almost everybody has it in their PB.
We'll talk about it when BigOhm gets there on their side. Let's see what Thunder's RNG is going to be here for the animals.
And BigOhm not getting luck with doubles here either, but still going to come in with a 403 emergency.
Come on. Nice. This actually isn't bad. Three of the four came out right away. Nicely done.
And now the animals have been saved.
Hooray!
Adam's going to be a little bit disappointed in us when we talk to him, finding out that there weren't any humans there.
Mm-hmm. Samus is talking right now, basically the Edakuns and Dakaros that they met on Planet Zebes before.
Which also, now that I think about it, it's pretty rude that Adam just gets disappointed they weren't humans. Like, I don't know about you, some of my favorite friends are animals.
There you go. I am a big dog lover. I'm an animal lover. I think Autumn, I think my wife and I are up to over a half a dozen dog breeds that we want.
That sounds about right. I'm just glad that you're not saying that you're up to a half a dozen cats. I was gonna get scared there for a second.
Nope! I'm very much a dog person. A nice climb up Red Tower as well by BigOhm. So Thunder continuing to extend their lead. BigOhm has had just some really tough luck as well. Nice speed booster into the missile here. And now we're going back to the only data station we revisit twice in this game, and that's the Sector 5 data station.
Yeah, and
get power bombs.
This is my least favorite segment in the game because even Adam's just like, hey, you know where to go. Go there.
Why not the one that's on the observation deck, Adam? If the main elevator's been restored, doesn't that mean the observation deck should be ready to go? Why not that?
Well, the observation deck has its own elevator that we can't get up. So we can get up the main elevator, but we can't get up the operations deck elevator.
Whatever.
Unfortunately, when Samus was getting all of her certifications in repair work, she was not able to pass the elevator certification. A little known fact, but Samus Aran, not capable of repairing giant elevators.
Just uses them.
Also, honestly, the more you think about how the BSL research station is laid out like in a logistical situation, like the less it makes sense whatsoever. I don't understand who designed this thing or how any of the purposes is designed for make any sense whatsoever.
Yep,
answer
and there's
is,
the
it's
only
just a
power
game.
bombs we need in the game.
Don't worry though, this is Hundo, so we're gonna pick up a casual 64 more of them.
That we don't need. Oh, nice,
Ooh, nice.
wall jumps
Thunder
by Thunder.
getting the wall jump.
Woo.
Only one shot cancel needed in order to get the positioning here. And that is a pretty tricky, or pretty precise wall jump in order to get over there.
Yeah, that was pretty. And now this is going to be, hey, look, there's a missing Kego. It's like the game forces us to go fight the SAX again, or at least escape from the SAX. Power bomb just placed just far enough. And no
That
problem.
room is deceptively difficult, so it looks like it's completely free, and it largely is. However, you need to time the ball jump to get into the tunnel pretty much as quickly as you can in order to not get potentially shot by the SAX on your way out of the room. In Hundo, there's not a lot of damage. We'll just eat a little bit of time loss, but in any percent, I've seen runs get lost to that. Also, we have power bombs, which in this game, not only are they power bombs, they are also our X-ray scope. They're how we find where anything is at. Although, as Hundo runners, we already know where all the items are.
I don't think I've ever completed this game 100%. Maybe I have. I've probably forgotten, but we're going to talk about it when we get to the sector revisits and item cleanup stage. There were some really, really, really difficult rooms that you have to go through in order to get 100% in this game.
Thunder with a very clean river road here.
Yep, really nicely done. All right. So now Thunder is going to be making their way back, and we're about to be going to the next segment that I like to call Boss Rush. So, Autumn, we're going to have 3 bosses and 1 mini-boss, all within the span of about 10 minutes.
That we are. And the next boss coming up, in categories where you have less resources, I would argue is the hardest boss in the game.
Yakuza. Yep.
Yep, Yakuza, our spider boss, not to be confused with Arachnus, our not spider boss.
Yep. So let's
Both
talk
bosses
about it,
on
folks.
the main deck.
Yep. Thank you, Dark Spy. I'll get to that in just 1 second. Let's talk about Boss Rush real quick, and then we'll give these runners a shout-out. Boss Rush is very simple. You are heading... Samus is being told to head back to the ship. The ship's computer, Adam, wants to talk to her about something. This elevator's going to shut off halfway through, so Samus is going to have to go and break some blocks that shouldn't be breakable, and go ahead and get through this. Again, when Autumn already talked about it, some of this room is weirdly designed by the station. So there's the X-Parasite for Ridley.
Those chicken wings, they were looking like they might be a little spoiled.
Maybe. So, Boss Rush. Yakuza is the spider boss, where you get space jump. You're going to go from Yakuza to turn on the auxiliary power. Auxiliary power to go into Sector 2. Sector 2, you're going to have to go immediately into, in my opinion, what at least when I was playing this game, one of the scariest SAX encounters you encounter, because you can't get by it. It's waiting for you. It's hanging out there. So, BigOhm also didn't get the wall jumps. That's okay. SAX escape into a boss called Notori, which is basically just a giant plant that's suffocating the station. Once you're done missiling that thing to Kingdom Come, or off the planet, station, whatever you want to call it. They're then gonna go and go to a navigation room after you get plasma. Adam's gonna question why you got plasma. And then it's on to that Nightmare boss that we already have seen twice or 3 times now in Sector 5. Nightmare is where we're going to get our gravity suit. It is a biomechanical machine that controls gravity according to what the Slab scientists have developed Nightmare for. Nice climb from BigOhm as well. So Thunder on their way right now to Yakuza. And like I said, this happens all within a span of about 10 to 12 minutes. So Autumn, are you ready for boss rush?
Nah, I think I could wait like another 10 minutes for it.
Okay.
Oh wait, I'm not the one running,
minutes.
so we don't have to wait for me to catch up.
And yes, exclamation point R on the Twitch chat. Thank you, Dark Spy. Go give both of these runners a follow. Exclamation point C if you want to follow the commentary team. So here we go. Door down.
And now we've got some RNG coming here. If we get a 1 round, 2 round, 3, or 4, you see Thunder just jumping up and shooting missiles up. So Yakuza spawns at the top of the screen, has its mouth open immediately.
That's 1.
And we're able to get some damage in by jumping, and it lets the missiles bleed off screen. 2 rounds.
2 skips.
And Thunder letting the boss grab them and then getting pulled up. And we want to go a little bit higher up in order to get time to spam more missiles into it to try to get a 1 cycle here. Otherwise, we've got another 0 to 4 rounds.
3 cycle.
And Thunder just going for singles, but this movement is very difficult to react to and very quick. So when you have low health and low skill, this fight can get out of hand. Nice double for Thunder there.
Yeah, nicely done. So that's boss 1 down. Thunder gets space jump. So space jumping out of this room to go turn on the auxiliary power unit. So auxiliary power, so elevators and stuff like main functions not being restored. Now it's time to go fight, well, not really fight, but to escape the SAX leading to Sector 2 and then on to the Metroid fight. I still have no idea how some... You see all of that plant stuff? That's from Notori. Hello, SAX.
Thunder doing the classic version of this SAX chase, where we freeze the SAX before running out of the room. The latest version of this chase actually doesn't involve freezing it, but just involves running past it, essentially.
Yep.
The SAX doesn't have the best visual detection in this particular chase, so you can do some kind of funny things in the first room and see what it takes to get it to notice you.
So nicely done as well. That was a clean SAX escape. And now Thunder is on to...
Ohm, are you going to do JRP jump? No JRP jump from Ohm. Sag.
If you're enjoying this race, give us a thumbs up on the Twitch chat. And here we go. Nice no beams again for Thunder. And here's the Notori fight. It's just missile this thing to Kingdom Come.
Yeah, if you've ever played this in any other category, you have to weave in some power bombs and manage your missiles and try not to take on the shots. Then you come in Hundo and you get to just have the cathartic experience of unloading your missiles into it, which is the fastest way. Fun fact, there's an extension category where we use out of bounds to get to this room well before we should, called Nettery RTA. In that, because the station's power isn't off, that door is active during the fight, and once you start onto the Core X fight, you can accidentally shoot the door and open it, and just run out of the room and completely lose your boss fight and basically kill your run. Other fun fact, the shot from the beam core can also open the door.
Well, there you go. Thunder with a nice Notori fight. So that was 2 bosses and a mini boss sax escape in 4 or 5 minutes. But now comes on the last part of this, which is the Nightmare run and fight. Oh, BigOhm getting a nice opening Yakuza too. Yakuza already purple.
You love to see it.
Yep. Nicely done. BigOhm, nicely done. And a 2-cycle Yakuza.
These are some clean shots here too from Ohm.
Yep, absolutely.
Reacting very well to Yak.
All right, so Autumn, where are we at again with these racers right now? I know Thunder and Ohm have both raced a couple times. Tournament Rise, where are we at?
Let me go ahead and check. Of course, that tab decided to crash, but pulling up the pod that these guys are in, Thunder is currently at 2-0. Barya in the pod is 2-1. Ohm is 0-1, and the fourth runner Nai is 0-2. So, if Thunder wins, Thunder is moving on to bracket. If Thunder loses and Ohm also takes the race against Nai, then we get into the tiebreaker.
There you go. Shout out Nai. I've commentated some of their races in Metroid Prime. Oh, BigOhm almost missing a nice missile there. But no problem here in the second room. And now to the third room. Don't get to freeze the sacks here. Just gotta hit this. Nicely done. Both racers really nicely done here. Thunder, are you gonna do it? Let's see it. The shine spark across several rooms. One of the prettiest things you see here in Metroid Fusion. Beautifully done.
And yet somehow not the swaggest version of that strat, as we do have a Nightmare Space Boost, hardest trick in the game. Thunder picking up some E out of the mini fridge here on the way down. Very free room in Hundo. However, if you don't get over to the left in time to hit that block out and catch the ledge, it's pain climbing back up.
BigOhm and a nice shine spark through those vines.
You know, I don't know that I've ever seen that strat, but it was fun to watch.
Absolutely. BigOhm now on the Notori fight. And there is, if you stand where BigOhm is, that top left one can't actually hit you, and I did not know that.
Oh yeah, it is an absolute nice way to cheese that fight, especially if you're not as familiar with the game. Meanwhile, Thunder picking up some items on the way to Nightmare. And fortunately, I'm sure we're going to see a quick pickup on this upcoming E-Tank and not doing the intended strat of bombing out a tunnel and climbing over there. Not that any runners in this tournament would do that.
I think what we need to talk about with Thunder there is that was pretty big. Really big, actually. No beams for Yakuza, Notori, and Nightmare. That's huge.
No, he had one beam on Yakuza.
Did he? I thought it was
He
big.
did have one
beam.
No, Thunder also had a beam there.
Oh, I thought it was 0. I could be wrong. And now it's time to see if Thunder can get the 1-round Nightmare. Nightmare fight, and maybe getting close. No. Oh, it's
one missile off, as is tradition.
Unfortunate. Nice double to open things up. Another double looking really good.
And we got the triple-double.
Nice. Good job, Thunder. And now Thunder gets, in my opinion, one of the best looking suits in the game, if not the best looking suit. It's the purple and green gravity suit. I like the blue and yellow. I like the purple and green. I just really like this suit. The blue and yellow is just kind of classic.
Also, it Thunder didn't actually forget how to get out of that room. You have to run close enough to the door to open it before you run further to the right so that you have enough space to build up speed to break through a speed booster wall. And now Thunder remembering to pick up the airlock, another item that runners sometimes forget.
I also just want to mention that Twitch chat, you're in the presence of the greatness that is Schmade. You're welcome. All right, Thunder entering the worst room in the game.
If Twitch chat really wants a treat in a couple days, we're going to have Schmade in the booth.
Ooh, there you go.
We're looking at 9 o'clock Eastern on Sunday for that one.
Nice. AM, PM?
9 o'clock AM Eastern, I should say.
Okay.
We've got some time zones in this tournament. And Thunder in lower sector 4, some of the best music in the game. It is just such a vibe down here.
Mm-hmm. This is the best looking area in all of Metroid Fusion. Period.
And
Don't
much more relaxing in Hundo than in a lot of other categories, because these enemies down here, they do a lot of damage. But in Hundo, we have 11 E-tanks. We do not care.
Yep. Oh, Monkey's hanging out in chat. Another person of greatness. I mean, we already have Autumn, person of greatness, that's hanging out with us in the booth. And here goes Samus breaking some rules. She's had enough of fixing stuff around this station. And now it's time for her to take matters into her own hands.
Oh no, she hasn't had enough of doing the fixes. There are just more doors that she has work orders for, and she can't get to them behind these locks.
This room, you
Thunder
gotta wait
going
for these
through the
two
crab
golden
battle.
crabs. Yep, nicely done. I think both races are looking really good throughout their runs. Obviously, BigOhm has had issues. We saw it in Franker Z. Had some issues there. And didn't get some of the best Zazabi RNG either. And had some issues with the Mega Core X actual Score X. So, but BigOhm having a really good race as well. Also, shout out to all of you that are racing that early on Sunday morning, because I will be sleeping. I have a long day ahead of me tomorrow, because I got an early morning ahead of me. I will be at Fenway Park at 6 a.m.
That is much earlier than I ever want to be awake for anything.
So it's the one time a year I do this. It is the annual Run to Home Base event. The home base charity is outstanding, and an organization I've been supporting, either volunteering or walking in this event since 2016. And it's always a good time. And this is the first time I'm back at Fenway for this event since the pandemic started back in 2020. So the first time since 2019, I'll be back in person at Fenway to support a great cause. But getting up
Thunder
at...
getting through the Kako room, getting both of
Yep.
the speed keeps here, and making sure not to bonk by going too early. Meanwhile, BigOhm has Nightmare on screen, everybody's favorite Mecha TV Slam cat girl.
I just don't like the fact of getting up at 4:30 in the morning.
Also, I agree with the sentiment in chat about not being a Red Sox fan.
It's okay. I don't know why we're trying to win this year, but that's besides the point.
I don't know, the area that I'm from, we don't really have a concept of trying to win at baseball.
Oh, jeez. Please don't tell me White Sox.
Nope, worse.
Okay. Worse than the White Sox are this year?
I don't know about this year. I haven't paid attention to baseball for like 10 years.
Nah, is it the A's?
The Pirates.
Ah, fair. Gorgeous stadium.
Oh, yeah. And
Being
cheap
able to
tickets
overlook the
because
river?
you don't have a winning team. But hey, did you know that we're actually playing Metroid Fusion here? And
We
Thunder
are playing
deciding
Fusion.
to actually go for 100%, not leaving behind the item in Sector 4.
Good
So here's our
job,
Sector
Thunder.
4 cleanup.
Well, I mentioned it earlier, Autumn. This is the one item we're going to get on our way out that's part of cleanup. And that's it. Sector 4 has been cleaned up.
I've watched more than 199% run because of that item. And Thunder showing off the just absolutely just comically absurd number of missiles that we have access to at this point, just shooting the entire research station.
Did BigOhm miss the
Because
energy tank? Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off there, because went right back through the nightmare room again after defeating the boss.
You know, and Schmade saying that, Schmade being the only person who noticed, missing that. I didn't even think to pay attention to that because it's just understood that you get it.
Schmade's greatness.
You hate to see it for Ohm.
Yeah, again, not the first time we've seen that in this tournament. So, BigOhm here in the worst room in the game. Autumn, why do they call this room the worst room in the game?
Because all of these crabs are just throwing croissants at you the whole time, and there's just not a good way to deal with it, and you have to jump through a bunch of things. There's not a lot of space, and those crabs take a deceptively high amount of shots to kill. Also, Thunder picking up the items that they had bombed open the tunnels for earlier. Getting the missile tank in order to get the better puffer pattern going in for the E-tank. And we're going to see everyone's favorite boss coming up in this sector here. It's gotten upgraded, so before we saw Box, but now someone called Microsoft and we got Xbox.
This boss is annoying.
Do you know why we call it Xbox, WX?
I do, because the actual security robot that, I'm sorry, I still think has an actual X-Parasite in it, during the first fight, has now an official X-Parasite in it, and we are going to be getting the last beam upgrade before the end of the game, and that's Wave Beam.
Wave Beam, preferred beam of rando runners everywhere.
Yeah.
It's definitely not cursed in any way, shape, or form, and we do not hate it. And get your cat jams in chat here. Fortunately, Box will stay on screen a little bit longer here, although this is Thunder, so not a lot longer. And this fight comes all the way down to positioning, because Xbox does jump high enough to knock you off of that ladder, so you have to stay just far enough back that it won't hit you, but close enough that you can hit it.
Good job from Thunder. So now Samus has found the actual secret research station in the research station.
BigOhm getting bullied by a space pirate down in the Thunderdome. That was just a rude space pirate. And Thunder continuing to try to blow up the BSL research station early, which, if this were any percent, I would get it, but you wouldn't have the missiles to do it. But because this is Hundo, like, you still have to pick up more items. If you blow up the station early, you're not going to be able to pick them up. The real question here is Thunder going to line up the Metroids for us?
We'll see.
Gonna get a nice stack action here. We're getting some nice stacking action.
Nice!
Fun fact, this tournament is when I learned that that's a thing you can do.
I've never seen that before, so good job. Bonk.
Still a 53, not bad.
Nicely done.
And Cryhard saying that you just jump through the door.
Do it.
I was expecting there to be something more complicated there.
All right, Autumn. Talk to us about text mashing.
So text mashing, these text boxes scroll faster while you're holding down a button. However, if you're holding down the button, it won't automatically clear. It waits for you to press another button, and every runner has a different setup that they like to do between using B, down, and A. But essentially, you have to hold down while the text is scrolling, and then when the arrow pops onto screen, you want to clear it as quickly as possible by pressing another button, but you also have to have the button that you were originally holding no longer pressed, because if you hit 2 buttons at the same time, it doesn't react. So it's not about anything to do with speed, but precision. Personally, I use B, and then I use A for my dialog box transitions, because A is the only thing that can accept options. Let's hope Thunder doesn't get trolled here in the Animorphs room. Very slow spawn on the Garubis, but able to get through. Dark Spy in chat saying down in A, which is, I believe, the most common in the community, but it feels like everyone just has a different setup for how we like to tech smash, and it is the favored skill of speedrunners everywhere. Based Cry Hard using A plus B. And we've got gold pirates on the screen, and these are great. So these are similar to the metal pirates in Super Metroid that are only vulnerable at a certain point. In Fusion, the goal is you're only supposed to be able to shoot them from behind. How the game checks for this is it checks when the beam collides, whether Samus is facing the same direction as the pirate or not.
The metal pirates, aka the Ridley Guardians, aka the golden pirates, aka the golden guardians.
We just shoot them and turn around and it thinks we're behind. And Thunder getting off a great Ridley fight here.
Yes,
this fight in the past was almost entirely random. However, we've gotten it down to where we have a pretty consistent setup that you can get a clean fight almost every time. I think that was just a single on spawn, getting a nice double for Thunder there, as Ohm is picking up an E-tank.
Yeah,
one more
Thunder
double.
Doing a really nice job, and I've been on record. I've been on record as saying this. I am not a fan of Ridley's screeches here in Fusion.
What, you don't like the loudest sound in the known universe?
No, just it's fun to make fun of, but still.
My boyfriend at one point was legitimately working on figuring out how to cancel Ridley's screams just to save our ears.
Well done.
Shout out to you, Link. Pikal, I'm here because I want us to kill Ridley for screeching.
Alright, so it's time. Autumn, it's time for a sector revisits and item cleanup.
That's right, we are in the part that distinguishes Hundo, as Thunder is going to go around the BSL research station through a bunch of screw attack tunnels that will let us into different sections of the station in order to pick up items that we didn't pick up the first time through. And important to note, if we ever end up in a navigation room, we will get locked in there by Adam to talk at us a bunch and no longer let us back into the sectors.
So this route is very specific then, because I did not know that. This route is then very specific, yeah?
Yes, it is. And you get to see how the game kind of represents how the sectors are laid out in a three-dimensional space that are basically in a ring around the main elevator. Ooh, Thunder Knights getting the speed store right before getting into the save room, so not having to take the extra door transitions here.
So BigOhm had a little bit of a struggle there with the Xbox fight. And then with the core, so nice recovery though from BigOhm.
Yeah, and also I will point out that at this point we're at the hour and 17-minute mark. We're early in cleanup for Thunder, or not even on it yet for Ohm.
Yep.
Any percent for either of these runners finished a couple minutes ago, or several minutes ago.
Oh, absolutely. But this is the thing about 100%. This is why I said at the beginning of this, at the beginning of the game, we're looking on average about an hour 40 to an hour and 50 minutes for these racers to complete their runs.
Yeah, Thunder will probably see something closer to like a 137, 138.
Yep, like I said, on average.
Yeah, Thunder also the 3 seed in our tournament. So definitely a top runner here. And there, see, WX, you were hating on diffusions earlier. We used diffusions in that room in order to clear the block a little bit faster than we otherwise could.
There you go.
And in a more fun way.
Ta-da!
And now BigOhm getting reprimanded for opening up the level 4 doors.
Yeah.
And Thunder going for the going for the space boost. Ooh, landing a little bit early. Actually, not sure if that was intentional or not. As I've seen a lot of strats for this room and a lot of arguments about this room.
Hey, Autumn. If people out there watching want to get involved with Metroid Fusion, whether it's volunteering, whether it is playing in the game, learning to play the game, getting involved in any other tournaments, where can they go?
If you go to speedrun.com/fusion, that'll take you to our community leaderboard. We've got a link to our Discord there. Feel free to pop in, ask us questions. We've got details about the randomizer and the vanilla game.
I hear there's a new randomizer also in the works, isn't there?
There is in the works. We don't know exactly what the timing is on that, but that is certainly something that I'm looking forward to.
Likewise, I've played a few Fusion randos and it's fun. I like to
Also,
have
Based
the,
Schmade putting the link to the leaderboard on in the chat.
Thank you, Schmade. I like to have all the items actually with question marks when I play rando. I think it's
And Thunder using the setup. I think Thunder got the bomb jump, but wasn't able to quite get in the tunnel there. If I saw that correctly.
I think he got on the first one. I'm not happy about that. Alright, here we go. This is the Sector 3 cleanup that I mentioned earlier. We're back now into the emergency in Sector 3 area.
And Thunder doing the counterclockwise cleanup, which is the optimal one. However, it does unfortunately remove a space boost from the run, which is the real tragedy of all tragedies, as space boosting is by far just the most fan-favorite tech in Fusion. And space boosting, of course, for anyone not in the know, refers to just when we build up speed and then do a chain of space jumps while maintaining full speed. And Thunder continuing to just demolish the station with all these missiles here.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Ohm looks a little off script with Ridley here, but we've got more than enough health to deal with this. And Ridley takes damage every frame from the plasma beam, so we're trying to do diagonal shots on Ridley here in order to maximize the amount of time that the beam is in his hitbox, and thus the amount of damage we're doing.
It's sad because the plasma beam is so overpowered that you don't really. That Ridley is the only boss you get a chance to do the damage per frame on. You can't really do it on Nightmare. You can't really do it on Xbox. And it's just Ridley. And, well, of course, you get the SAX too, but still.
Imagine if you had Microwave with the Fusion Plasma Beam.
Oh, boy. That sounds interesting.
And Thunder coming back out of the express elevator here and going to be leaving Sector 3. And next on the list, Sector 5.
Good Sector 3 cleanup by Thunder.
Cryhard in chat saying that Thunder is the reason for the broken doors, so that's why we have all these door fixes.
Thunder keeping Samus employed. Long heated room here. The only heated room of the upper section, by the way. Autumn can correct me if I'm wrong there, but I believe that's correct.
Sorry, I missed what you said because I was reading a message in chat, and sometimes when I read and I hear, my brain just deletes all of it.
You're fine. So I said that the door that Thunder came through, that's the only heated room in the entire upper section of Sector 3.
That is, and that's supposed to be a sign as you're going through it the first time that you're not supposed to be in there, because this was before the Metroid series liked making us do damage runs. BigOhm starting into cleanup as well here, has already cleaned up one item.
Yep, so question in chat, did Ohm die? No. Thunder is just one of the top 5 record holders in 100%. And both racers not taking a death, but looking really solid. Ohm's also had a little bit of bad luck with some of the fights. And Ohm missing. This is one of the rooms that, you know, can give people trouble. I know it's given me trouble. Is being able to hold the Shine Sparks.
Yeah, it's not as bad in Vanilla Fusion when you have Screw Attack, but definitely a little bit difficult. I've never been able to manage to get the Speed Store without ending up in the save room. It's something that better runners than me can do, but it is incredibly difficult.
I find it just difficult to do this, like the Speed Store, go up, make sure you don't hit the wrong buttons. Shine Spark here, and then being able to then just pop out of the door and save it, and then to go up. It's very difficult.
Here's Thunder going for another Space Boost, trying to get the Space Boost Alley item here. And nailing it.
Nice. Good job, Thunder.
Love
One
to
more
see a
item
clean
here.
Space Boost Alley.
Yep. There's the Space Boost.
As Ohm picking up Crab Rave.
Yep, there you go. Thunder gets that. Thunder cleaning up Sector 5. Oh, excuse me, Sector 6 now.
Yep, going back into the Xbox room. Fortunately, Xbox has also gone back into storage, and this game came out in early enough that we didn't have an Xbox 360 yet, so we don't get another boss fight. Thunder with a clean jump to get up into space. The intended strat here is to pick that item up by doing a Shine Spark, and you go all the way up to lower Sector 1 again, to where you go into the Ridley area. And so we jump through that opening rather than do a Shine Spark up. That way we can end up back in Sector 6 and not have to lose a lot of time digging ourselves out of Turian. And now a question here coming up into the Rum Crumbler is, are we going to see Thunder use the safe bomb strat or the swag crumble jump strat? What do you think, WX?
Well, it would have been a lot easier if y'all heard me. I'm going to go bomb. Yep.
And we've got bomb strat.
Oh, nice recovery.
Yeah, falling but getting one of the crumble jumps, doing a spin jump, and the bomb strat saves or loses 1 second to a spring ball crumble jump done optimally, but it breaks even with a spin jump crumble jump and is faster than failing the crumble jump, which is frame perfect.
There you go, and Thunder's going
Thunder with the space boost
highway.
going into Pillar Highway, and you hate to see it.
Unfortunate, and Thunder are not happy about that. So now on the way back, we're going to see another Shine Spark, but you know, we had the ridiculous power bombs randomly floating in space.
The thing that I most wish could be in this run, so from Pillar Highway, we saw the space boost in and out of it. It's actually possible to space boost all the way from there, all the way into the space boost alley item. It is incredibly difficult, and there's absolutely no routing that could possibly make it save time. But I desperately wish it were in the run because it's just pure swag.
There you go. BigOhm now cleaning up Sector 3. Thunder is about to go through Sector 6, and remember how I mentioned that pass-through earlier? We're about to go through the Sector 4 pass-through. Sector 4 is already fully cleaned up. We're just going to go Sector 4 to Sector 2.
Hardest sector in the game right here. And Thunder, can you get it? Can you get it? Oh, and Thunder executing perfectly in there. And now we're back in Sector 2.
Time for Crumble City.
Sector 2 has a lot of fun stuff to clean up. And a couple of things that we desperately hope we don't have to get in cleanup. So the items nearest to where we pick up the bombs in the data room here.
Thunder, please. Okay, good. Recovery.
And the items closest to the bombs, no longer accessible unless we do the full reverse loop through Sector 2. Fortunately, both of our runners did pick those up the first time through.
All right, Big Thunder with a really nice Crumble City. BigOhm continuing to go through Sector 3. Sorry about the yarns, it's getting late.
How dare.
Hey, it's midnight.
And now
for me
Thunder
here.
about to go finish cleaning up Sector 1, because actually when we do Sector 1 cleanup, we leave one item behind. It is faster to do it while we're cleaning up Sector 2. And Cryhard, that emote legitimately just made me yawn IRL. That is uncanny how it had that effect.
Yeah, like I said, I gotta be up at 4:30, so I knew that when I signed up and didn't care. Wanted to commentate this.
It's midnight for me too, but I've got the curse of the second shifter, so I'll still be up for a bit.
There you go.
And Thunder getting through just in time to prevent getting blocked by the bomb block reforming.
I still
And
don't
we're about
call-
to see Ripper Tower. Ripper Tower, one of the worst rooms, and can lose you a lot of time. If we go for the freeze strat, those Rippers can be in all kinds of other positions that don't let you do this.
Yeah,
There's
nicely
also
done by
a-
Thunder.
There's also an unmorph strat where you spin jump after going through the crumble blocks that not the most difficult to do, not a pure crumble jump, but still we see a lot of people not get their respin in time to get it. And Thunder paying a visit to everyone's favorite item, Wonderwall. And WX, do you know why that item's called Wonderwall?
No, but I had a stupid thing I was gonna say, but elected to do the smart thing and not say it.
Choice that I never make, but no, that room is Wonderwall because it's by Oasis.
Ah, well, there you go. Also, great name for that room, calling it Oasis.
Yeah, I think that was one of the first room names we had for this game. This
Yep.
game didn't have a ton of names before the first randomizer was developed. And then a bunch of commentators realized that we needed to be able to call things stuff.
Also fair.
Thunder
this,
coming
this
into the
is-
Zazabi Speedway.
Yep, Zazabi. You call it Speedway or Highway? Zazabi Speedway.
Zazabi is Speedway.
Yep, because it's not a highway, it's got multiple speedways.
Yeah,
Another
we had too
very
many
tough room.
highways, and a couple of us put our feet down and said, no, everything isn't a highway. Thunder getting the spark high or low enough to be able to get the speed store, bumping a couple with the morph ball bounce, that's still enough to be able to get it.
Good.
That was not easy, and I learned a thing. I'd say I learned a thing I'll implement in my runs, but I don't know. I think I might still have a bad case of skill issue.
All right. So, Thunder is, I believe, done with Sector 2 now, yeah? No, you got one more room at the very top. Was locked by a green door, I think. Oh no, we're done. All right.
Yeah, Thunder does have 99% right now.
Yep.
And we have seen people forget the last item, which is on main deck. The one sector we didn't specify that we need to clean up.
Yep. I wouldn't even consider main deck. Would you even consider main deck a sector? I just consider it main deck.
I call it main deck, but main deck I do consider a sector.
There you go.
And I know at least on maps it's shown as Sector 0. I think that might be a thing in the game code, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Sector is a sector, so yes, that was the one item we need to clean up here is this power bomb. We couldn't get this because we didn't have power bombs yet. The X wall thingy there that Thunder just got rid of is only deletable by a power bomb or a screw attack. Can you even defeat it with Speed Booster?
In theory, you can. I don't believe it is possible to carry a charge that far up that room.
No, because you have the elevator. So here we go. Here's the navigation room you mentioned. All sectors are going to be shut off now.
We have to talk to Adam twice in this room because we talked to him and then he locks us in the room and we have to talk to him again to get him to let us out.
So much talking.
Meanwhile, BigOhm in the middle of Sector 6 cleanup. And we have an any objections lady in chat, and as our resident lady, I have objections. I object to listening to Adam. Listening to Adam is slow. Okay, looks like going a little bit quickly for the bomb strap, but backing it up with the crumble jump. And that bomb strat is a more recently learned strat that's very safe to get through that room. We call that room the run crumbler because that run has crumbled so many hundo runs. When there's a frame perfect crumble jump that's easy to miss, it's very easy to go in there on a pace, say 8 seconds ahead of your PB and come out of there being 19 seconds behind it.
BigOhm gets the Shine Spark across. Nicely done.
Yep, the Shine Spark the safe way, but not quite as swag as the Space Boost. And Thunder on SAX, 4-shot is a myth, as we all know. But managing to kill it up on the platform and getting ready to go up against the most cursed Hornode in the game. And getting the 2-shot on that. So far, Thunder's SAX fight going exactly according to script. And are we going to get the triple-double? That was definitely a double on the second shot. I think the first was a single. I was
double.
wrong. They just overlapped so closely that...
There you go. Yeah, Thunder's going to get a sub 140. As long as Thunder doesn't mess this up.
It would be difficult to mess it up that badly.
You are down to just 1 HP, I mean. Once the Omega Metro hits you. BigOhm now in Crumble City! Ooh, nice recovery! Double recovery from BigOhm!
Let's go,
relief as well.
Now the question here, is Thunder getting low height? Thunder
have
making
not
sure to
seen
get
it.
the door fix in the setup here.
I've not seen it once done. Thunder's gonna have it. No!
Oh! Needing
Almost.
one more to be able to get a jump off here, and let's see if we're able to manipulate for the sweet spot. Thunder doing a little jump there, a couple little jumps. That is a tech figured out in the last couple of weeks that will guarantee the ice core here is going to be in the sweet spot and speed up the little cutscene. Also, Thunder better be careful here, being down to 1 energy.
Like I said, 1 energy.
Missiles do not work on Omega Blazing Raven. Only the Ice Beam will work on it.
Yes, the ice
However,
beam.
we do a strat called Upstrat here, which is you wait for the Scream to finish on the Omega, then you just hold up and spam shot, and it gets unlocked.
Samus, the station's already blowing up. Stop with the missiles.
Let's see how many Thunder's able to get out.
Time.
And get your GGs in chat as Thunder finishing with
GGs.
a 138.23.
1:38.24 on racetime.gg. Very good time. Good job, Thunder. Now, because this is, what'd you call it, pod stage, group stage? BigOhm still has to finish.
Yeah, pod, group, pools, whatever you want to call it. I don't think we have an official name that we've been using. And Ohm waiting for the Rippers to get into a better position, worse RNG than what we saw with Thunder. And Ohm getting trolled by the ways that the game tries to correct Samus's position, being pulled out of that tunnel there to snap to a Ripper. Frozen enemies are maybe not the most solidly coded thing in Metroid Fusion. Opting to pick up Oasis before Wonderwall. I'm sorry, but with your opponent having finished, I don't think this is going to be the one to save you. And I will show myself the door for that one. Hopefully Samus fixed it already. And let's see what kind of Zazabi Speedway BigOhm will get for us. And Thunder getting the 105 in-game time. Incredibly respectable time, and verifying that is 100%.
There you go.
BigOhm with a little bit of a bonk there. And immediately on the webcam feed seeing not happy about that.
Bonk.
Sometimes the Shine Spark, just Samus wants to go in a different direction than you need to, and that's just running Metroid Fusion.
Metroid Fusion for the Game Boy Advance. Nicely done, BigOhm.
Catching the slope, that way not having to wait through the bonk animation. Blazing Raven, this is still in pools, so we're still waiting to see who's going to get into bracket. Thunder, with this win going 3-0 in that pool, is going to advance to bracket. BigOhm very likely will not be advancing based on the result of this race. And where did my challenge tab go? Well, it's somewhere.
Now BigOhm with one item to go.
Yeah, looking at this pool, this will put Thunder at 3-0. Baria is at 2-1. Ohm will be at 0-2, and Nai will also be at 0-2. So it looks like this does confirm that going into the bracket stage, which is an 8-person bracket, it will be Thunder and Baria advancing. But BigOhm will still have a race against Nai for third in the pod.
Yep.
And Ohm remembering to pick up the last item here to get to 99%. And at least it's not a case where missing an item is the reason for losing a race, because those are always the ones that you hate to see those the most.
Yeah, those are tough. Yeah, those are tough. So it's now time for BigOhm to take care of the chats back and forth between Adam and themselves.
And this is the worst part of text matching in the whole game as well, because the timings are just so inconsistent here, and you have to be looking for arrows at 2 different points. You have to get the very tiny jump between the text boxes, just all kinds of mess here. Also, I agree with Blazing Raven here with the respect the Toad hat. Definitely, if there's any disrespect for that Toad hat, just no, we're not having that here. And BigOhm's still talking to Adam. Unfortunately, we can't be cool like Metroid Dread and get to skip Adam, as much as we would love to. Although, we do have an extension category for a ROM hack of this game called Fastest Fusion, and that takes out all of the text as well as fixing the RNG for the iDoors, and as many other places as we're able to. And so, especially if you want to get in some hundo practice and don't want to go through all of your text matching, that is a way to do it. Let's see how Ohm's SAX fight's going to go here. Getting the diagonal shots here. And 4-shot is a myth. So very clean through the SAX fight here.
Nicely done.
I think I saw one of those stink.
Yeah, there we go.
Chat finally bullied me into paying attention for the missile tanks instead of looking for the hitboxes. Thank you, chat.
Yes, thank
Ooh.
you, folks. Go follow these runners. Tryhard's
And
already
Ohm
put him in
not
there.
fixing the door into the operations deck. SMH my head.
Thank you, Tryhard. Yeah, go follow the runners, folks. If you enjoyed the run, make sure you give them a follow. If you've enjoyed the run, I want to see some up in the chat. And feel free to follow the commentary team if you would like this. Tryhard put the links in there already.
Don't follow Autumn out of habit, though. I'm not sure that stream's very quality.
Ouch.
Let's see what kind of escape BigOhm is gonna get here. Ooh, no door fix here either. Samus has decided not to finish the shift. And that's gonna be a little high.
Ah, couple of pixels off. Unfortunate.
To destination.
And BigOhm getting through the Omega fight here.
Alright, there we go.
And in the Fusion tradition of just spamming as much ammo as we can at the station as we wait for the ship to come pick us up, get your GGs in chat for
GGs.
BigOhm, finishing with an official racetime.gg time of 1 hour, 47 minutes, and 36 seconds.
Yes, GG's to both runners. Let's see if we get anybody in here for some post-game interviews. Don't know if Thunder's going to come in. I know Ohm wants to, or at least said they would.
And if either of our runners is listening and is having trouble getting in, just go ahead and shoot me a ping if you need, and I can get you into the server. It looks like Thunder will be passing on the interview as it is late, which
Okie dokie.
we
Understandable.
can certainly appreciate that. But it looks like Ohm will be interested in popping in here. Just have to make sure the ohm is marked as finished here.
I did.
And Cry Hard, that certainly is an emote. Truly one of the emotes of all time. And I'm going to go ahead and work on helping Ohm get into the room.
Yeah, it has some technical difficulties trying to get the interview bot in here.
And that sounds like we are being joined by BigOhm.
That is correct.
GG's,
What's up, Big Ohm? GG's.
Puffers. Puffers are.
We hate them, and we hate to hate them.
Yep. I have the pufferfish carrot button on my stream deck because of these things.
Yeah, I don't know
Alright.
too many games where there's as much of a consensus worst enemy in the game as it is with Fusion and Puffers. If anyone disagrees, they've never run through Sector 6.
I have plenty of other issues with that run I just did, but let's just start there.
Very cool. All right, so good run overall. I think you got some RNG bumps there, and you had a little bit of trouble there in one of the big rooms, the escape from Sector 3 section.
Oh yeah. Going into Sector 3, I botched I botched climbing up that bigger room like 3 times or something. That was gross.
Yeah, it's all good. What did you think of your run overall?
Ugh.
At least you're honest.
Yep. It just be like that sometimes. I just have
Mhm.
to hit the grind a little harder.
This is the reality of speedrunning.
Yep.
For every bad run that's a PB, there are dozens of bad runs that are not PB.
Yep.
They say the good run is out there, but I think it might be a myth.
Yeah, potentially.
Actually, I guess the good run isn't a myth, it's just happening over on Monkey SMB's stream.
Yep, it is.
There you go. All right. Well, did you have fun in the tournament?
Yeah, it's been fun.
There you go.
If I recall from the bracket, I believe Ohm does still have one race left to go.
Yep.
Yeah,
I got one tomorrow with Nye.
it's gonna be fun.
Nice. Unfortunately, I will have to miss that because I'll be stuck at work.
Oh. Everybody's working for the weekend.
But yeah, we do have some more Fusion coming up on the schedule, and I will have those times for us in a second here. So tomorrow, Saturday the 27th, we're going to have BigOhm versus Nye, finishing up that pod at 7 p.m. Eastern. Then on Sunday, 9 a.m. Eastern, because we have some runners in some time zones that are
So
not
early.
here. We've got Dark Spy versus Sci-Fi Gemini. That'll be a great one if anyone is awake for that. And then on Monday, we've got a couple of maybe lower quality races here. We've got some scrub named Autumn Out of Habit who will be racing at 12 p.m. Eastern against Destructor, and then 6 p.m. Eastern against Hercules Bench Press.
Autumn, the gauntlet that you have to run through in those 2 games.
It's okay. I mean, I'm not winning those races no matter who I'm up against, so, we might as well put on someone entertaining.
All right. Well, Autumn, why don't you get us on out of here?
All right. Any closing thoughts before I do, Ohm?
No.
Well, with that, go ahead, everyone in chat. Once again, give our runners a follow here. Also, give my co-commentator WXFan a follow. I've been Autumn Out of Habit, here joined by WXFan21, bringing you Thunder versus BigOhm. Thank you all for joining us, and we will see you next mission.